Hello and welcome to the Chester Taylor League podcast. It is now, is it the fourth or the fifth podcast you've done, Sam?
It's got to be the fourth.
Yeah, I think it's the fourth. We did a pre-draft, post-draft, week 1, week 2, and yeah, it's the fourth. Okay. So, anyways, thanks for listening. We hear there's some demand for this, believe it or not. So we're appreciative of you guys paying attention and wanting some more. So we're gonna give it to you.
Down with a knee injury.
He's dead, Peter. He's dead. I think that's the last game we're gonna see him in. Don't you think?
Yep, I think so. I think he's done for the year, and this one hurts. I think we're all confident because he's only had like 2 yards rushing all season, and Bradford looked really good the other day. But oh boy, I think we're in trouble, man. I think we needed Peterson more than we realized. I think Minnesotans are so reactive that we have this false sense of confidence that we think now all of a sudden we're this high-flying passing attack with Diggs and Bradford. This could get rough.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not making the 18 next year, and I don't think he likes playing here. So I think that was last of AP in the purple jerseys. So it's been awesome to see. I've been happy that he's been there, but I agree with you in that I think Minnesotans are reactive and don't realize how important he is, but I am happy to move on too. It's been kind of an up and down season. I don't like relying on one person so much. So
where does his MVP year, the one that he went for over 2,000, rank in your all-time favorite seasons for a sports player?
Number one. I mean,
Really?
I think the most fun I ever had in a sports year was probably the 04 Wolves, that year's Viking games, and then the 09 Favre. I mean...
Yeah, I would probably go 09 Favre, then the Peterson year, then the 04 Wolves. I'm a basketball guy, so I'm surprised that you ranked the 04 Wolves that high, but...
I was big into those spinner shoes, man. Those Freewells, dude. Those things were the bomb. Those things were great.
Did you get some of those?
I had them. Yep, I did. I had to feed Spreewell's family, and I did like Sam Cassell's, grab my balls or whatever that dance was he did.
They were disappointing. I thought how the Spreewells barely spun. You really had to slam your feet for them to spin it all, and they just kind of.
They really only worked for like a week, and then they didn't work at all. So.
Yeah. Well, Peterson, I'm sad about. I think we'll still make the playoffs, but. Man, it's going to be tough. This offensive line looks terrible. I think with Bridgewater in, having no Peterson would help. But with Bradford in, I think he needed Peterson. Does that make sense?
It does. I do think that our schedule is a little bit easier, though, and I think with our defense, we'll go 500 for the rest of the year, so that puts us at 7-7.
Yeah.
So 9-7, 10-6. We'll be right on the edge of the playoffs, and we'll see what happens, but yeah, definitely is kind of a bummer. But anyways, this is a fantasy football podcast. This is not Vikings, but we kind of want to lead into Adrian Peterson's death to our first subject of Andrew Samson's demise. So
that was quick. We exalted him far too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense at the time, but with Peterson going down and Spencer Ware soon to be off the throne in Kansas City, I don't see the team being able to keep up.
And part of my ranking him number 2 is Russell Wilson being healthy too, and he's so reliant on running with a hurt ankle. It doesn't look as good. He's probably a borderline QB1 instead of maybe a top 3 QB.
The dude's a Bilbo Baggins. He's a short, hobbled man trying to run around. It's not going to go good with that offensive line. So yeah, it's not looking good for Samson. Sorry, dude. It was high highs and low lows, but hey, maybe you can make the playoffs and make a run, make a few trades. Who knows what happens? But yeah, so.
You can recover from anything. There's no fantasy team right now that is like, wow, my team is loaded.
No.
I think most teams have some strengths and some weaknesses, so you keep adding players, and it's whoever makes that big free agent acquisition that's going to end up winning it.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, whoever picks up the free agent or makes the right trade at the right time, we'll probably be there at the end, and be consistent. So sorry for that sound, guys. What we had a couple trades this last week. What happened, Sam?
Well, why don't you talk about yours and I can talk about mine because they involve the both of us.
Are we going to compare and see how big we are?
Well, everyone always thinks they've won a trade, so of course I won mine, but no, we'll see what happens. Let me take a look at yours and I'll tell you what I think. I gotta pull up the actual trade, though.
So basically, what
happened? Give me the rundown.
Yeah, well, I drafted really well, I felt, and I had all these bench players, and I found myself trying to have to decide between all these people, which is a good problem to have, but it's also a bad problem when you start overthinking and you pick the wrong players, and then you actually score less on a week-to-week basis because you try to go for the trendy picks when you should just stick with your studs. So that was kind of my goal. I wanted to get more studs on my team, guys that would just start automatically no matter what. That had a lot of value to it. So I basically asked for trades to like 6 or 7 you guys out there, and I was throwing stuff a lot to Mark, Jordo, Alex, obviously Jarris, even you, Sam. So I was just ready to shop. Those bench players were high value at the time. They could have dropped, so I wanted to get rid of them as fast as possible. And I held on to the guys that I like, being Travis Benjamin and Marvin Jones as my 2 important assets. So I got a tight end that is going to be top 3 at the end of the year, as long as he's not injured. And I upgraded the quarterback to another top 3 quarterback. So I just wanted to get a lead at the other positions, and I overpaid for it. But you can only start 6, 7 people in this league. So you gotta go with your studs. So that was my theory. I think we both won. I think Jarris got a lot of depth, and his team will actually. Jarris is 2-0, by the way. Jarris got some depth, and I think it worked out for both of us. So I think both of us
really
won.
2-0? That's crazy. What I don't like is that automatically after trades, we always have to assume that one person did better. What I like about the deal for Jarris is he adds more of that depth. He's lost a lot of guys, and so he has to replenish those. Now he's basically done that with one deal, trading 2 guys that I don't think were essential to his success, and I think have the potential to be replaced. For you, it makes sense. I think it might be a little bit early in the year, considering you might have some trouble filling Eddie Lacy's and Isaiah Crowell's shoes, especially if Ryan Matthews gets hurt, which he inevitably will, and if Jamal Charles doesn't come back, then you're really in trouble. But
not if Lacy continues to, S the bed and Crowell drops off like he always does, So I was sick and tired of dealing with Lacy. He was so inconsistent. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was losing me games last year. Actually, this team theory that I built, it was a wrong team strategy. And that's why I didn't make the playoffs last year. So I had to change it up and go back to my original strategy that I had in previous leagues. So.
Yeah, I'm always I want the best players in the deal. So if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes.
Yeah.
I think it was a good deal. I think you're both going to end up winning it. I think it's going to look pretty solid for both of you, honestly. I wish I could have a little more hot take on it. That's fun to listen to and inspires debate, but that's honestly the truth. It's just Crowell you sold high on, and Lacy is kind of sold low on. I mean, Lacy's value probably isn't going to go down too much unless he continues to be awful. And you have guys that can step in and replace the guys you lost, so no biggie.
Yeah, it wasn't like Jarris is losing on any keepers. Reed was a 4th rounder, so he's not like a deserved keeper anyways. So, he's not going to be my keeper. So we're just kind of exchanging, and yeah, I think it worked out good. So, and then you and Zach kind of flopping around. The tight ends, the valuable tight ends, were a valuable commodity in week 2.
I'm historically the guy who doesn't want a tight end. Give me every other position, I'll fill in tight end. But then I started to look at it.
Do you like flabby tight ends? Flabby ends?
I don't care. I mean, it's going to be like your difference is between like 7 points for an elite tight end and 3 for a crummy one. So it's like, well, whatever. I mean, unless you get Gronk, Reed, or Olsen, it seems like now it's But then I really looked at it and I started to notice, how many teams really have good tight ends? You can actually separate yourself quite a bit by having a decent tight end. That's probably one of the big differences between a 12 team and a 10 team. So I started looking at people who could trade them, and most of them are in my boat where they don't have any good tight end. There are a few that have one, and then I saw Zach's team, which had Greg Olsen and Delaney Walker. Now, Delaney Walker probably not my favorite guy, but he's Zach's backup. So what use is he really there as long as Greg Olsen, the guy who plays 16 games every single year, is there? So I figured out what Zach needs, and it was kind of a perfect fit. He has Devonta Freeman. Give him Tevin Coleman, kind of ease his mind about Devonta Freeman's workload. And if Freeman gets hurt, then Coleman's going to be probably a top 15 back.
Yep, no, I agree. It's another win-win. I'm not going to debate that.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Zach about it for quite a while, and it just seemed to make the most sense. It was Coleman is only valuable on his team, and Delaney Walker had 0 value on his team, and would be very valuable to mine. So let's swap teams.
I love Delaney Walker. I love that name. I love it.
What about it?
He should make a whiskey. Johnny and Delaney Walker.
Oh,
And Delaney is like Delane E. It's got my name in it.
I never even noticed that.
There you go. That'd be my black name, Delaney.
You want to trade him for Jordan Reed?
No, if you have Olsen though, I would. We had this conversation before, remember?
Oh yeah, I remember.
All right, well.
And Olsen snuck behind the defense in a blown coverage one time, and all of a sudden we get text messages about, "Oh, you run good Olsen."
He still is rather consistent without that play, but. Anyways, well, moving on. We're about 10 minutes into this, so we're just gonna do a quick buy low or sell high. So Sam picked a few players that are either doing really well or doing not so good. So the first sell high option is C.J. Anderson. Would you sell or would you buy?
So basically, I think the point of this game is figuring out, like, if I'm the C.J. Anderson owner, do I decide to sell high and trade him away? And I think the answer is it depends. I think C.J. Anderson's being valued as a top 5 running back right now, which he probably should be. I mean, with workload, talent, a good offense, all that thrown together. So I would probably trade him if I can get a top 5 running back for him, or like a top wide receiver. I think I would send him packing.
In a keeper league, this league I would sell for elite wide receiver. I would go to Jordo and I'd say C.J. Anderson for A.J. Green, or I'd go to Mark and I would say C.J. and someone else for Allen Robinson. That if you could do that, get away with it, I think that'd be valuable. I don't think a running back like C.J. will be a keeper year in and year out. So it's that in itself makes me want to sell.
And I guess where's the cutoff for you? So if we were redrafting the whole draft, where would you draft C.J. Anderson right now, knowing what you know through the first 2 games?
He'd still be a late second rounder for me, mid to late second rounder.
I'd agree. Yeah. So I mean, he's improved quite a bit. I mean, that's almost 2 rounds of being bumped up. But my point is that, like, if someone's willing to offer you, if someone gave me Todd Gurley for C.J. Anderson, I'd probably rather have Todd Gurley for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, Todd Gurley has that pedigree. There is a certain bias amongst running backs that if they have a certain name, they're going to start. They're going to be, lone wolves. They're going to get all the carries. That's just the way it is.
I'll tell you what, as the Todd Gurley owner, that'd be tempting because you see C.J. Anderson producing right now, and you're like, there's nothing preventing him from producing more and more.
But
So
remember last you. But I also owned C.J. Anderson last year as a keeper, and I saw Ronnie Hillman get more production and more fantasy points than C.J. Anderson did all year. Ronnie Hillman.
well, now Ronnie Hillman's on the Vikings, so he can't do that again.
He's the new purple Jesus, Ronnie Hillman.
All right.
All right, well, let's move on. Stephon Diggs. Samson, lucked out again getting this guy. He's been clicking with Sean Hill, Sam Bradford. He looked good with Teddy last year. Are you? He's definitely, his value's high right now. So you're gonna sell high, or are you gonna target him?
If you could get a fourth or third round guy for Stephon Diggs, you sell. I think that's what the price would demand right now.
It's Stephon.
In our league, especially because we're all Minnesota Vikings fans for the most part, I say you run to the computer and you sell him as quick as possible. I think we've probably seen his two higher scoring games this year, and his value is going to be as high as it possibly can be right now. So if you could get a T.Y. Hilton, Mike Evans type guy, I would definitely sell. Alshon Jeffrey,
Do you think someone I think if you're knowing you and Kyle, you are not giving up that for Stephon Diggs though. That's not
never.
That's not a likely trade that would happen. So I'm thinking
T.Y. Hilton probably would be.
I
think Samson owns T.Y. Hilton, but I'm just saying that type of guy. A guy who has been disappointing, but has the talent to be a top 10 wide receiver.
T.Y. Hilton's on a no draft is on my non-draft list. So
okay.
I'm trying to think of someone in the third round. Like Keenan Allen. If he was healthy, I think would be a likely trade target.
All right. Let me ask you this: rest of the year, who would you rather have?
Next year,
Jeremy Maclin or Stephon Diggs?
For the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs.
Man, then we're going to disagree. I'd take Jeremy Maclin.
Okay. Stephon Diggs, he's done a couple things that, as far as a PFF standpoint, he beats press coverage now. He actually can fight at the line of scrimmage. And he's just got a swag about him. Wide receivers have that swag, that confidence. It's almost an X factor. OBJ had it. Antonio Brown has it. There's just a certain personality trait that once a wide receiver attains that, their value skyrockets. And they, for whatever reason, they perform better. They get mentally on a different level. And I think Diggs is there. I see a lot of wide receivers go there, and not many fall off. I'm a little worried about Beckham, to be honest with you, Sam. I have not seen that ego about him. Maclin.
Didn't he have 108 yards last game and drop a 40-yard touchdown?
He dropped it though. He's a one-hand grabbing man.
He drops 2 touchdowns a year. He'll be by himself, and he does that, and then he still ends up with 1,600 yards and 12 touchdowns. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll see how it goes. I think really the only Maclin is actually the one who had it with the Eagles. He had an awesome year, and then he kind of went down to the dumps. And he's a solid, consistent wide receiver, but he's not one of those guys that a number one cornerback like Sherman or Revis, or not Revis anymore, but those types of cornerbacks I'm gonna take down Jeremy Maclin. That's not their goal. That's not their level. People now are going to be targeting Diggs. If we go play trying to think of a shutdown corner. If we play Seattle, or let's say we play Washington, they're going to track Norman on Diggs the entire game. They're going to get that attention. They're not going to do that with Maclin. So that's my point. It sounds like you wouldn't sell high. Then you'd hold him.
I'd hold him. Yeah, unless someone else really liked him, was a homer for Vikings, I would hold on to him. So
I'd sell high. That would be me, but that's why we play the game.
Yep.
All right. How about some buy low guys? I identified 2 guys who haven't really performed exactly how you think they would, but do you go and try to get them? So first one I talked about was Mark Ingram. What do you think of him?
This one took me a while to think about. I actually own him in my other league, and I'm a little worried. The reason being is that since the Saints got rid of Watson and their fullback, they're not running a power run offense. They're going 3 wide receivers, single eye, and they are throwing the ball down the field. They are not pounding it with Ingram anymore. It's a different offense. So that kind of makes me a little mysterious. Ingram is a good pass catching back, but I think teams are confused on how to cover the Saints wide receivers right now. They're just explosive. I mean, not like that they did great against the Giants, but that's where they put all the attention, and the Saints kept on trying to do that, push the ball down the field, and not just take what they give you with Ingram. So I didn't target Ingram. That's the one guy in Jarris' team I didn't want. So
if you could do would you rather have Carlos Hyde or Mark Ingram the rest of the year?
Ingram.
Okay. Let's see. Who's a guy that you would compare to him for who you would put on par?
I think the biggest realistic, this is, again, try to think long term on this, but Melvin Gordon would be one I would compare value-wise.
Oh, really?
Yep.
See, I think Melvin Gordon skyrocketed, so maybe he should have been in our sell high, because I would keep him.
He did, but I'm saying just bring him down a little bit. Gordon is a running back 10 to 15. That's what Ingram is right now. So, I mean...
Okay, well, I think that's where you drafted Mark Ingram. I mean, I don't think you drafted him to be a bell cow. I mean... He
was a top 5 running back and didn't play the last 4 games because he didn't want to get injured. So, I mean,
yeah,
he was a bell cow last year.
I guess my point was he just wasn't being drafted like that. He would probably have been a third-round pick, you know? So, I mean, you're getting into the 10, 15 range anyways.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be okay. I think I would try to buy low on him. I would trade away someone who's a little bit worse than him and hope that the owner bites. Because what you're looking at is a guy who, the first game, they threw everywhere. They were throwing to everyone. They didn't run at all. And it worked. Then the second game, they tried it again, and it didn't work. So now Sean Payton's going to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what do we do well? We need to control the game. Our defense is awful. Let's try to score as much as we can, but also do that running. And I think they're going to get back to it a little bit. I think Sean Payton said a few things that hint at that, but they're going to try to run a little bit more and get a little bit more balance. So I think Ingram's going to be fine. His upside's so limited. He's never going to be, the best back in the league, but it gives you some good touchdown opportunities, and hopefully the pass catching comes back. Because that's the biggest concern for me, is that he's not catching passes anymore.
That's what I mean. And if I was Jarris, I mean, what are you gonna trade Mark Ingram for? You're probably gonna trade him for a wide receiver not of the same value, that's on the rise, maybe like a Stephon Diggs. I don't know. I don't think Ingram's gonna move all that much. An owner of Mark Ingram will see the upside, and then will want too much. I don't think he's likely to move on anyone's team.
If I had a ton of wide receivers that were doing really well, I would trade Marvin Jones I would throw that out there, Marvin Jones for Mark Ingram, and hope that, the owner was getting desperate and saw the huge catches from Marvin Jones and was willing to bite on that.
Okay. Yeah, if I was the Ingram owner, I wouldn't do that. So I'm keeping him. So
it just depends. I mean, it just depends on how patient you are. Some guys are super patient with all their players. Some have a tolerance for a few players, and some don't. And then some just want to sell everyone for one bad week, and let's sell everyone. So
yeah,
I think if you were an owner that just kind of got sick of owning Ingram, you might do a Marvin Jones.
owning Marvin Jones, I would do that all day.
No.
So, Jarris, one more trade.
The other buy low guy is Allen Robinson. I know Mark specifically doesn't think that there's anything to be worried about. What do you think?
I agree with him. Actually, I think I offered him Lacey, Marvin Jones, and Willie Snead for Allen Robinson. I know. I offered him potential 2 keepers, maybe even 3 keepers if Snead keeps on performing like this for Allen Robinson.
Well, I mean, he keeps guys from the 9th round, so who knows? You could have offered him
Treasure
coming off an ACL, and he would have probably kept him.
So I don't know what he's thinking. He's like, "Oh, you would really have to overpay for Allen Robinson." And I was like, "Dude, I thought I was overpaying, but no, I would definitely buy low on Allen Robinson. The run game will return. Believe it or not, Julius Thomas is stealing some targets in those 3rd downs. So watch out a little bit, but still, I think it's time to. If someone had Allen Robinson who was reasonable, unlike Mark, I'd buy low.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think that Allen Robinson. We talked about this before the season, but it's just the guy. There was so much that went well for him last year. I think we get this false impression that he is this bona fide number 1 wide receiver, which I think he has the potential to be, but I don't think he's there yet. And there are a few things working against him. One, if you look at all those bona fide number 1 receivers, they either have no contests for targets or they have an elite quarterback throwing them. So you look at the guys like Odell Beckham,
Mike Evans.
When he had no targets that were going anywhere else, Antonio Brown has a great quarterback. Julio Jones has no competition. Alshon and Mike Evans have no competition. That's where Allen Robinson is probably more like a wide receiver 12, that kind of guy. So I think we're just seeing kind of who he really is instead of what we thought he was last year when he got all these garbage time touchdowns and would just save you on days by catching this 50-yard touchdown pass where the coverage wasn't even carrying anymore.
Yeah, I was actually hoping Hearns would go away. And actually, I thought Hearns was the one who was getting all the garbage time touchdowns from from the stats that I saw. It was actually Hearns benefiting the most from that. And I thought Hearns would.
Another thing too that to do with that is a lot of times what happens is when there's an elite number 1 corner for the defenses, you'll see them completely go away from Allen Robinson. They're not afraid to, and they'll just say, "All right, it's a Hearns game today," which. You don't want that as a fantasy owner. You want it to be okay, we're going to throw it to you 100 times now just to make up for the defense.
They're not going towards Hearns either, though. It's just a complete inept offensive, personality right now. I think the whole offense is dead. So I'm not. I don't think it's a division of targets. I don't think it's a, lack of talent. I think it's literally just their offense is not clicking yet. So put Ivory in there. He'll drop another safety in the box, and then you'll see Bortles throw it around a little bit, and Robinson will be right back up there.
I would anticipate that he ends the season as high-end wide receiver 2, where he's in the 12 to 15 range, and you're not upset you own this. He's not a bust, but he definitely doesn't live up to that hype that he's the next great wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, with these first 2 games, he's probably him and Amari Cooper. I put in that same exact little section.
Yep, and you got Cooper for way less price than you paid for Robinson, so it would be kind of disappointing.
Robinson can get you those crazy games though: 2 touchdowns, 180 yards, 10 catches. So.
I'm a little bit more worried about those games now because of what you said earlier about Julius Thomas. So he's going to take those red zone targets away. This is something I apparently feel strongly about. And I wanted to see what Mark would say. So I threw up Todd Gurley to him for Allen Robinson, and I got a firm no.
Oh.
No discussion, no anything, just no.
What a douche.
I know.
Well, he's the one he's the one losing out on that one. But anyways, yeah, that'd be Mark. You got to overpay for Allen Robinson.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid. I've been there. When you have your guys, it's like you almost have to. I'd have to trade him.
Half your team.
Johnson and Todd Gurley to get him.
Yeah, well, you're better off not to do it. So feel free to move on and not be frustrated with it. So
one last question I got for you right now.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Who is the most valuable player in fantasy right now?
Let me think. It's still Antonio Brown.
Okay. The 40-yard game didn't change your mind?
In rain against a solid defense. Yeah, I mean, it'd be the people that would audition for number one would be David Johnson. Yeah,
That's about it.
that's about it. Him and Antonio. I can't think of anyone else that I really could trust week in, week out.
And you know what? Probably the only difference that separates him is position scarcity. The argument that you can make for Johnson is that while everyone else is going down or expected to kind of come back to earth, I mean, D'Angelo Williams is going to be hitting the bench here pretty soon. Melvin Gordon, you don't expect to be this good. David Johnson's kind of just producing on very few touches. I think he has like 20 touches a game, and he's getting you 16 points a game. Any other running back that's even close to doing that right now? I mean, it's scary out there right now.
It is. It's scary at every position. It's actually a lot of up and coming players. Jeremy Langford, Murray, different guys you not expect to be top 10 players right now are. So I expect everything to kind of shuffle its way out of it and go back to the way we kind of projected it to be. But there are some players that will fall off, just like each and every year. But maybe not as easy as we predicted. Matt Forte, one of those guys that, wow, just came out of nowhere. Everyone wrote him off. And, I mean, no offense to Danny, but Danny didn't keep him. And I think he's the number one running back right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, well, he had like a 30-point game I think last week, so that never hurts. But yeah, he looks way better than I expected, and I was thinking that him and Powell would split touches, but that hasn't happened at all.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something to do with Fitzpatrick in there, or coming in late or what. But yeah, we'll have to find out. So, still plenty of season left, boys. Don't panic yet, but still remain active on that trade waiver and send me some trades. Let me see what you got.
All right, dude. Is that all?
That's it. So we'll try to get this on. Sam, a quick request. Have both of the links to the last 2 weeks on your management note, just so they have both of them. They haven't listened to last week. So.
All right, we'll do.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. This is the Chester Taylor League podcast, and feel free to give us a call if you want to join this conversation. It's just us having a good old time. Sam saving people at work, and me sitting at home with my wife being very patient with me while she listens to us talk about the most boring subject to her. So, have a good night, guys. We love you, and have a good rest of the day.
Peace.
Peace.